Saab 92 1950 to 1956. The Saab 92 was the first production car from Saab. The design was very aerodynamic for its time, with a drag coefficient, CX or CW, of 0.30. The entire body was stamped out of one piece of sheet metal and then cut to accommodate doors and windows. Full-scale production started December 12, 1949, based on the prototype per Saab. All of them were of the deluxe version. A standard version was advertised, but nobody was interested in buying it, so no standard versions were produced. The engine was a transversely mounted, water-cooled two-cylinder, two-stroke 764 cc, 25 horsepower, 19 kilowatts, engine based on a DKW design, giving a top speed of 105 km per hour, 65 miles per hour. The transmission had 3 gears, the first unsynchronized. In order to overcome the problems of oil starvation during overrun, engine braking, for the two-stroke engine, a freewheel device was fitted. The suspension was by torsion bars. All early Saab 92s were painted in a dark green color similar to British racing green. According to some sources, Saab had a surplus of green paint from wartime production of airplanes. All the cars were painted bottle green, a color that became something of a trademark for Saab cars. The underlying reason was that the armed forces had bought large quantities of a green cellulose paint for camouflage painting. However, the paint did not suit the terrain and the entire consignment of paint was sold off. Saab bought it, and that was why both the aircraft and cars ended up green. Saab's rally history already started 2 weeks after the 92 was released, when Saab's head engineer Rolf Melda entered the Swedish rally and came second in his class. Only 701 models were made. In 1951, the German VDO instruments were replaced by American Stuart Warner components. In 1952, Greta Molander won the Coupe des Dames of a Zero in a 92, tuned to 35 horsepower, 26 kilowatts. In 1953, the 92B arrived with a much larger rear window and larger luggage space, with an opening lid. It was now available in gray, blue-gray, black and green. In 1954, the Saab 92 got the new Solex 32 bicarburetor and a new ignition coil giving 28 horsepower, 21 kilowatts. The US headlights were replaced with heli units. Another novelty was that a textile roof, semi-cab or cabrio coach, was offered as an option. The color maroon was also introduced this year. In 1955, it acquired an electric fuel pump and square tail lights installed in the rear fenders. The colors were gray, maroon and a new color, moss green. The English aviation test pilot, Bob Moore, who had helped to develop the Saab Tannen J-29 jet aircraft, brought a 1955 Saab 92B back to England, when he returned, later to become the first managing director of Saab GB Limited. This was reputedly the first ever Saab car imported to the UK. The Saab 93 was introduced in December 1955, but both the 92B and 93 were produced at the same time, for a while. The last 92 was assembled in late 1956, early 1957. 2 new colors, gray-green and beige, were available. A total of 20,128 Saab 92s were made. The Saab 92 appears on a Swedish postage stamp. When General Motors in 2008 made a list of their top 10 cars, the Saab 92 came in first, followed by the Pontiac GTO, 1964, the Chevrolet Corvette, 1953, the EV1, 1996, the Opel Olympia, 1936, the LaSalle, 1927, the Chevrolet Bel Air, 1955, the Cadillac V16, 1930, the Cadillac Model 30, 1910, and the Cadillac, 1912. Spyker Cars, the Dutch maker of supercars, bought Saab in 2010.